You're listening to That Home Loan Hub. I'm Zibuni Solimova, here to make home loans and property investing simple, smart, and stress-free. Let's get you closer to your property dreams. If you currently have a house and you want to become an investor, this is an episode for you. Listen up. I've got James in the house. Hello, James.
Morena.
All right, that's a third different greetings. I love it. James, we laughed a little bit about this subject because you told me it's owner-operator, but it's not owner-operator, it's owner-occupier to a long-term investor. What do you want to tell me?
Well, this started, and I mean, you would have these all the time, and I've got a few clients like this, but I've got a lot of first home buyers that are already in a really solid position. So they've got their first home, they've got, say, 20, 30% equity. They've got really solid incomes. And I can see that they're going to be able to pay off their mortgage quite quickly and build up that equity. And they're already saying to me, like, when can they get their next house?
I love it.
So what I would love to talk to about, because there's quite a lot of people in this situation now, because of the KiwiSaver situation has really brought a lot of equity into the deposits. Mm-hmm. So you've got first home buyers with quite big deposits now because of their KiwiSaver. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to really help people who are financially sorted to actually get that second or that third house quite quickly. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be good just to talk about what does a first home buyer need to do to go from having been an owner-operator, an occupier to an investor.
Okay.
Getting that first investment property.
Yeah. So what is it going to take?
Well, I think they're going to need about 40% equity?
No, wrong. They need at least 30.
Oh, well.
But wait, there's more. If they're buying a new build, they need only 20.
Ooh, okay.
How good is that?
That is pretty awesome.
So
I
love how both of us like, we're so excited. We're so excited about this. Because what it means is that they only need to leave 20% behind in their own property. Yep. And then whatever extra is on top of that equity, we can take to another bank, or they can stay with the same bank. And all they need is really 30 to 20% deposit for the investment.
Okay, so so when we're talking about 30%, we're talking about 30% across the whole proposed mortgage debt.
The new proposed mortgage.
Okay.
I love how this turned into a training moment for James.
I did warn you about this topic.
I love it. Now, this is great because there will be lots of people that think like you, right? There will be lots of people that thinking, I need 30 across the whole thing. No. So the way it works, let me give you simple calculation. So if the house is 500K, right, they need to leave 20% behind in their current home.
Yeah.
So that's at least 100K that they can't touch.
Yep.
And let's say the mortgage is now 300K, right? So you take away 500, 20% out of that is 400. So 400 is maximum the bank can lend them.
Yeah.
And the mortgage is only 300. So that means they've got another 100K available equity all of a sudden that they can take out from their current bank. Yeah. So we take that 100K and we go, all right, what can we do with that 100K? Can we buy another house? If it's an old house, then it's 30%. Yep. So 100K as a 30% deposit, not really going to get them much unless they're buying, let's say, live-in, for 300K. Or can they buy another new build using that 100K as a 20% deposit?
Yeah.
And then that means they can buy something around 500K as a new build, which is still possible. There are lots of new builds in that price range that you can find.
Yeah.
So it's really getting clever with the money that you have, with the equity that you have. How can you use that equity going forward?
Yeah, and it wouldn't necessarily affect your cash flow that much, but you're adding...
Well, you hope not, because if you buy right and if you rent it out, then at least the rent will cover some of the new mortgage repayments.
And I think this is where we're going with this podcast, is that it's a good time for first home buyers, but it's also a good time if you're actually, even though the market hasn't been great in terms of house prices, but if you're looking to buy that second property and
it's a fantastic time as an investor. It's a fantastic time to buy a rental because we still have pockets of New Zealand where there is a shortage of rentals. And to be honest, in Kapiti, we have been quite blessed. We have really strong demand for rentals, good rentals, and people are prepared to pay quite, good money for it. So this is the time to be buying.
And we're at the trough of the market, basically. Your interest rates have just popped up a little bit, but you're still at the trough of the market. You've got good value in the future. From what I can understand, migration is just turning a corner. And that really affects the rental market, obviously. So we've got it hasn't changed much, but it's been in a bit of a low over the last year or so, as a lot of people leave for Australia.
Mm-hmm.
But as things get tougher in Australia, it's really unaffordable to buy a house in Australia and rent in Australia.
Yeah.
So
the grass is not greener on the other side.
Yeah, in fact, so you've got here, you're having a changing circumstance where it's becoming more affordable here, and it's getting easier to get a job here, whereas it's getting harder in Australia. So they've been doing really well for the last few years while we've gone through this really tough patch, and we've had 70,000 New Zealanders go there. Which
Do you
is
think
a lot.
they're going to come back?
They could come back. They could come back, absolutely. But this is what happens as our economy improves compared to Australia's. People come back, and then people from other countries prefer to come to New Zealand instead of going to Australia. So it just depends on where our economy is compared to Australia's is. It's not the main. It is probably the main thing that impacts our migration quite a bit.
And why do you need to know about migrations? Basically because of this whole property situation, right?
The rentals, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the equity lesson is the most important lesson for anyone listening out there to learn, and the difference between the new builds versus the existing stock that you're buying. It's really interesting, and I think we need to do a whole episode on new builds, what actually classifies new builds. So we'll do a whole new episode on that. I don't want to go into too much detail because sometimes people are confused when they look at new build and they think, oh, it's a new build, the bank will accept that. The bank may not accept that even though it's a new build. So there are certain T's and C's that apply to that. So we'll do a whole new episode on that. Anything else to add for the owner-occupier to a long-term investor?
No, that's pretty good. But just, a good time to do it is to start talking about it now, right? Rather than wait. We're seeing how quickly interest rates are changing already. So if you're in a strong position and you're keen, come and talk to us.
Absolutely.
And see what we can do.
Absolutely. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if there are any topics you want us to cover, please do let us know, because we record this for you and for some learning moments for James, but that's okay.
I'm pretending to not know what I'm talking about just for this podcast, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's just all role play. Awesome. Thank you so much. See ya. And that's a wrap on that Home Loan Hub. Don't forget to hit subscribe and join me next time for more property tips and tricks. Your next smart move starts here.